You're listening to the Sovereign Society podcast, a spiritual lifestyle sanctuary empowering you to honor the journey, trust the process, and radiate your radness. I'm your soul guide, Sabrina Riccio, Kundalini yoga teacher, spiritual mentor, and modern medicine woman who's on a mission to anchor in heaven on earth in this golden era. Join me every week where I gather some of my favorite spiritual leaders, goddesspreneurs, and changemakers for some authentic conversations about all things spirituality, wellness, what it takes to build your empire, and so much more. Over the years, after my deep Kundalini awakening and a series of events like being struck by lightning, it's been loud and clear that part of my divine purpose here is to share with you the tools and the guidance that supported me along the way. My mission here is to empower you to navigate through these changing times with ease and grace as you go forth and align to your soul's destiny while staying true and real along the way. Thank you so much for tuning into the Sovereign Society podcast, and get ready because we're about to go in deep and come out the other side stronger than ever before. This episode is brought to you by the Soulistic Journey, my mentorship program dedicated to the modern boss babe, those medicine women who are ready to honor and complete the cycles of the past so they can go forth and create the solid foundation for the empire while creating that beautiful, genuine, authentic relationship with your highest self. So we are living in times where people are ready to actualize those dreams as your reality. And if you're someone who's ready to stop playing small and show up with the world and share your gifts and your medicine, this experience is for you. What we do here is we implement quantum healing, Kundalini yoga, and modern mysticism. So we have the woo-woo with the business, right? So we've got the business strategy, the energetic resonance, and the authentic leadership to go out into the world and share your gifts unapologetically. Because let's face it, we all want to experience a world where this place is vibrating at its highest capacity. And now that we're at the home stretch of 2018, I'm excited to announce that I have 3 spots available. You can check out more and apply today by visiting sabrinariccio.com/the-soulistic-journey, and you can learn more, we can connect, and I'm so excited to help you take your business and life to the next level because you are worthy of living the life far beyond your wildest dreams. Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Sovereign Society podcast. I'm your soul guide, Sabrina Riccio, and I'm really excited to be with you today because if you haven't noticed, I've been focusing a lot more on business and marketing. I've been in this phase right now with Thrive, and we're starting on the business aspect of what it takes to build that foundation for the empire. And I've been working more with one-on-one clients for my private mentorship program I like to call the Soulistic Journey. And in there, we see what has been holding spiritual leaders, entrepreneurs back from showing up to the world and building their empires, because these are the people that know that through their work, they're here to make an impact in the world. And they know that through their medicine and whatever journey they've been through, whatever they're passionate about, they're going to uplift the collective consciousness. And I'm excited about sharing with you this episode because I've got 2 of my soul sisters from San Diego, and there's not very many people I get to just talk all about marketing all day like I do here with Jessie and Miranda. And I'm really excited because they have so much knowledge. Like I said, like Miranda's one of my best friends, and we call each other just to talk about marketing. Like we geek out on marketing together, and that's what this episode is. So if you are ready and eager to start building your business, or you're building your business and you want to take it to the next level, this episode's for you. We're sharing with you the secrets of branding and marketing, because here's the thing. Marketing is always evolving, and I know I'm really excited because I am starting to share more about that. And I'm speaking at Chapman University, my alma mater, on the 13th of November, and I get to teach a group of students about podcast marketing. So I would never expect me to do that, right? Last time I spoke there was back in 2012, the beginning of 2012, and I was talking about Peace, Love, EDM. And so to be able to see my involvement with that, it's been me trusting the process of how my business unfolds, which is one of the big topics we talked about here. And so through this conversation, we just really let you know that you are capable of building that business and life that you want. And in order to do that, you need to know who you are, because times are changing, business is shifting, And it's about you understanding and you going out there and seeing that there is no separation between you and your business, that your business is an extension of you. And people want to connect with you. They want to understand your brand. How are you here to serve? The list goes on, right? So we wanted to share this episode on how you can consciously create that business and that brand so that you can uplift humanity in the world at large. So in this episode, we talked about the power of saying no in your business, the trusting the process of how your business unfolds, the importance of honoring your sacred why, how millennials are here to solve the world's problems, cultivating community and the power of collaboration, how business is your ashram, becoming clear with your business and brand, the importance of branding work, social media as a trust tool, what it takes to keep marketing fresh, how to attract your tribe, and of course, future trends in marketing. And these women are powerhouses. I'm so inspired by both of them. And the work that they're doing, how they're here to serve, how they're here to show up, it blows my mind. So Jessie Donahue is the founder and CEO of MoonShot Creative, which is a creative agency that harnesses the power of neuroscience and design in order to build brands, great brands, and active communities. And so her agency really provides that full service brand development for growing businesses that are on a mission to make more than just money, but they're also on a mission to make an impact. And Miranda, what's been really great about Miranda is she's a soul sister, as I said, and she was one of the guest teachers for Thrive, which I'm currently accepting applications for as well. And she taught the Magnetize Your Medicine masterclass with me, which was powerful hour and 45-minute class that we did together. And Miranda, she's a digital marketing expert and branding enthusiast, and she has over 7 years of professional experience at the agency and the in-house level, and now she has her own company, Planet Palm Creative. But she's worked with major brands like Mama Chia, Nina & Co., Pura Vida bracelets, and Rainbow Optics in order to create these highly engaging content and social media campaigns, and she's slaying it. So with her boutique creative marketing agency, Planet Palm Creative, she really focuses and caters to purpose-driven lifestyle brands. And so the mission over there on Planet Palm Creative is to help brands inspire, influence, and activate their online communities. So again, these are powerhouse babes, and to have this conversation with them and to share the wisdom and what we've learned along the way from being in this field for a long time, this was a really, really fun conversation. So I'm really excited to be sharing with you episode 58, The Secrets of Building Your Brand with Jessie Donahue and Miranda Luebkeman. Enjoy. Hello and welcome to this episode of the Sovereign Society podcast. I am so excited here because this is going to be a trifecta today. And it's not often I get to do trifecta episodes. And you got 3 powerhouse goddesspreneurs, marketing babes here. And I'm excited because this is one of my favorite topics to geek out on. I don't know about you ladies. Well, actually, I do know with Miranda who's here because Miranda's one of my best friends, and we're both Geminis, and we call each other, talk about marketing all the time. And Miranda also, she hosted a class inside Thrive where we talked about magnetizing your medicine, and I know it was a lot of people's they loved it. I texted her after, I was oh my God. The crowd goes wild. So thank you again for that and sharing your expertise here. And Miranda's also my first one-on-one client. And so it's been really fun to see over the years, our friendship come. And then here comes Jessie here. And Jessie's just as strong as a powerhouse babe who runs her own agency. And what's really funny is that Jessie was at my house at the Creosote Casita before I even ever met her. So she knew me because we're talking about branding here today. And your home and your environment is a huge mirror of who you are. So I feel she was able to understand me without ever meeting me. So now we're finally meeting after she like spent time in my house and Miranda was taking care of my plants while I was on vacation. So I'm really grateful and honored to have the two of you here because, like I said, it's so fun to have like powerhouse boss babes here to like chat and talk about branding and marketing, because I know that the three of us here were really passionate about people building their businesses and like really creating their dream life. So with that started, Jessie, what does sovereignty mean to you?
Yeah, thanks for asking. That's such a great question. It's a question that's been coming up in my circles a lot lately. And sovereignty to me really is, I mean, the essence of that word means power, right? So it's having power over your life and your energy and what affects you, what comes into your sphere, having the freedom to do the things that really, really inspire you. And part of that for me was launching my business and doing something that was totally in alignment with my soul.
I love that. Yeah. Way to like take control of your life, girl. Appreciate that. Give permission for others to do the same. Okay, question to you, Miranda. What does sovereignty mean to you?
Mine is super simple. Sovereignty to me just means saying no. I've been such a yes girl my entire life, as Sabrina knows very, very well. um, and I guess similar with Jessie, it wasn't until I launched a business and actually put myself in a position where I had to say no in order to have sanity for myself and not say yes to every single project. For me, saying no to things that were no longer serving me, that weren't in alignment for me, gave me the greatest sense of power and accomplishment.
Ooh. Yeah, I feel like the conversation around boundaries has been like really strong this year. I know, like, not even just like personal boundaries, but like business boundaries. And I know, like, when we're starting our businesses too, it's like, oh, we want to jump on every opportunity. But if it's not in alignment or it's not resonating, you have to remember, like, is this actually like supporting my sacred why? Like, is this supporting the vision that I have? Is this, or am I just like allowing something outside of me to like gain control over my work and my business just because either they have like more followers or things like that? So it's like the integrity is what I was hearing when you were saying that, is like, how can you stay in that integrity of your brand? Wouldn't you ladies agree?
100%. And your no's are so powerful because they give power to your yeses. So for example, partnership is really important, and it's been a really big part of my story. And it wasn't until I said no to the partners that had big agencies or were really experienced in making millions of dollars that my big yeses came in. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think, yeah, it's just really allowing yourself. It's like a test, right? The universe is throwing this at you, and it's like, so how are you going to handle this? What are you going to do? Are you just going to like bow down, or are you going to stand in your truth?
Absolutely. You send a message to the universe by what you say yes to.
Yeah.
And making sure that your yeses are fully aligned just amplifies your ability to succeed in alignment.
Oh, yes. Amazing. So, yeah, I would love to hear what was your inspiration when you were like, Jessie, when you were like, I want to start my agency. Like, I want to do, like, serve my own path and, like, follow my heart.
Yeah. So it was actually an accident. I feel like the agency owners that I talked to, they kind of fell into it by accident. But I was actually running a community that supports female business owners. And I was working with hundreds and hundreds of women on all sorts of aspects of their business. And what continually kept coming up was people would come to me with their website and their visuals and say, can you help me with this? And I'd be like, oh, that's atrocious. Let's do this, this, and this. And then all of a sudden their business would really, really grow. And enough people asked me to help them with that I was like, oh, maybe there's something here. I should start an agency. So my journey's been tumultuous for sure. I fell in love with the idea of starting a business, went in head first, hired a full-time employee, and very quickly head first built a business. And here we are with MoonShot Creative.
Amazing. Yeah. And what's cool about that too is like, that's a trust, right? You may not know how it's going to unfold, but when you allow yourself to be in that space of allowance and trust, it's effortless, right? I think so many people are like struggling so much to make things work when that is so the old paradigm of business. Rather, it's now a part of like, I'm going to allow myself for it to flow. And for me to do that, I have to trust myself and hone in on that sacred why. So Miranda, I want to talk to you about like the importance of like that sacred why. Like, what is your intention with your brand, with your business, with your company?
Yeah, I mean, tapping into that sacred why is so important. It's funny, when I first launched my business, it was actually kind of out of a state of, oh gosh, I don't want to sound over dramatic, but almost in a state of panic. I was working full-time for a company, was not feeling fulfilled. I was working like 12 plus hour days, not really seeing a lot of reward in return for the hard work that I was doing. And I felt completely drained. I remember looking at myself and how stressed and tired I looked. You could see it like all over my face. I had so much acne. I was gaining weight. And I thought, is this it? Is this it? Like, this is what I'm working so hard for. And I remember looking around at different, other companies to see if I could transition to another company. And I was seeing the same thing. I thought, no matter where I go, I'm probably going to circle back into that same pattern of overworking myself, not really seeing that balance in life that I was striving so hard for. So I thought, if I'm not going to be able to get that from another company, I have no choice but to create it myself. So my personal sacred why was to create more spaciousness in my life. I don't know about you guys, but I think about a lot of things like starting a family. And I know in today's work landscape, it's hard to do that. It's hard to balance having a family and having a job. The United States isn't really the best place for maternity and paternity leave. And I wanted to create a company that would really honor that, not just for myself, but for any of my team members that I bring on. Like, freedom and flexibility is the most important thing for me in my life. And being able to also give that to other people on my team, I think is just so impactful. Oh, sorry, you guys can probably hear my neighbors are motorcyclists.
Going for a ride.
They have their Harleys driving out.
They're experiencing their sovereignty.
Yeah, this
freedom.
is their
that's their sovereignty.
Yeah, what a great reminder.
Midday ride.
Yeah,
when they rev that up at 6 a.m.
Yeah, great. Woke me up this morning.
I know. Sorry about that.
That's all good. So yeah, the freedom.
Yeah.
I hear you. And I think it's so funny because, the three of us here, we're all millennial business women. And there's always that like stigma of like, oh, you millennials are so fucking lazy. And it's like, okay, first of all, bitch, we're cleaning up the mess of our ancestors and this world. And we have the power, like we have this drive to really be this bridge and to make that change. And I think a lot of us are really streamlined and are really focused with like our gifts and how we can serve and how we want to make our own rules. Wouldn't you agree? Like, I know for Miranda, I know for sure, and I know with me, and probably you too, Jessie, like, I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to not be on my computer all the time. I want to be able to explore and experience life. And I know for me, like, I come from generations of hardworking families. Like, I was just thinking about this yesterday. Like, my grandmother, like, worked until she couldn't walk anymore. And so...
Oof.
She was like worked until she was 73, and like, I was thinking yesterday, I was like, bitch, I want to retire by like 45. Like, I really do. Like, I want to focus on streamlining all of my work now, like, so I can continue to enjoy my life, and what's really beautiful now and like what I love that the two of you are doing is like, you're really honing into the new energy of business, which is very strong on collaboration, where each of us focuses on our gifts. Each of us focuses on what comes natural to us. Let's collaborate together and create powerhouse fucking offerings and experiences where people will get a really strong experience and results, because we're all honoring each other and there's not this idea of competition. It's about like, let's collaborate and cooperate for the better good of all. So I just want to talk with you guys about that, on how you're seeing more of this collaboration energy in business versus like, we're beating against each other. Like, all three of us do marketing, but we're all supporting each other. It's not like cutthroat like it used to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And to go off what you said about millennials, call me optimistic, but I love millennials. I think they're amazing.
Totally.
The reason why they're amazing is because they don't accept the status quo. And that comes to like work style. And it also comes, like I said, call me optimistic, but I truly believe that millennials are going to solve the world's greatest problems.
Totally.
We don't accept the status quo. We're motivated. We're creating from a space of, like you said, we're not showing up in an office and working 12 hours a day and exhausting ourselves. Mm-hmm. We're saying, no, this doesn't work. Creating a lifestyle that supports creativity and stepping up. There's so many people in my immediate network that are absolutely blowing my mind with the stuff that they're creating.
Totally. I see it. Yeah, I hear you. It's the same thing. I'm like, damn, like my friend is making like $500,000 this year. Like, fuck yeah, do it. And she's like helping like women create their businesses. Incredible. Like, then there's more. And with that too, it's like, okay, if I'm a woman that is like completely independent with my business and I have a strong business, guess what? I'm happy. And when I'm happy, that continues to bleed into all of my relationships, all of my interactions, anyone that I come across. Like, you see the world through the perspective and the lens of like bliss and joy, what it means to actually be alive, because you're not burnt out, you're not struggling, you're not like in this like fear or anger or resentment. Like, you're truly embracing life and you're enjoying life. And that's where I feel like a lot of the business sector is shifting, is like people are working less, they're making more, and they're overall happy. And we have these teams, like I said, like if I'm doing marketing, I can reach out to a graphic designer. I don't have to do it all. And I'm supplying an opportunity for an entrepreneurial like businesswoman who's a graphic designer, her dreams coming true. Cool, supporting that, you know, like having all these different programs in these companies and seeing how we can all support each other with those gifts. And I think that, again, that's part of community building, which I know both of you are also very strong about. And I know, Miranda, you've done a lot of different brand companies like Rainbow Optics and Mama Chia and Brecky and more and more and more. So what would you say is like, how are you seeing community shift right now with business and marketing?
Oh, I mean, especially on social media, we're seeing that more and more and more, obviously. And with Instagram being kind of like the primary platform that most people are using right now, in order to really be successful, you have to use collaboration and utilize your community. What's that quote? I think I learned this from you, actually. It's like, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Yeah, that African proverb.
Yes.
Saw that on the snail at Coachella. I can't, you know.
No, I love that though. But once you said that to me, that has really just been ingrained in my head. And it's so, so important to tap into your network and to utilize partnership across every aspect of your marketing, especially social media. And it's just also so easy. You can collaborate on a product together. You can do a simple giveaway. You can do something where you promise to promote each other on each other's pages. And it's fun. It's easy. You're exposing your community to someone who, or you're exposing your community to either a product or a person that is still in alignment with your business, but is also going to bring even more value than you could even bring on your own. And there's a lot of people, I don't want to say a lot, but there's a common misconception that like, you know, collaborating with other people or promoting other brands puts them at risk for losing some business. But that's such a limiting mindset for someone to think, oh, well, I don't want them to be exposed to this person or this product because then they might just only use them instead of us. That is bullshit. Whenever I see a brand or a business have that mindset, it holds them back so, so much. I've seen it with my own eyes. You can just physically feel that stagnant energy that they're carrying. And you see it even across, like, when you look at marketing numbers, like when you look at their community growth and their engagement metrics, like when you look at someone with that mindset versus someone who is, yes, let's support everyone in the community. Like, we're all on the same team. We're all doing this together. Those brands, those are the people who soar and go far. And yeah.
Yeah, well, this is what was interesting, because when we were talking before too, Jessie brought this up, and this is something I'm really passionate about. And like when I was hearing that, you know, this is part of that is part of this spiritual part of business, right? Like, I'm very big on seeing it as a soulistic approach. Like, I see that our soul is intertwined. It's with our relationships, because you have to have these relationships with these other companies, these brands, these whatever. So there's no separation between your relationships, yourself, your health, your spirituality, and your business. They are all intertwined, all interconnected, and it's part of business of today. I feel like more and more people are really understanding that they are spiritual beings having a human experience, and through that, this has been a journey for us to raise consciousness. Like, this is why we're here, to raise consciousness and more brands. The brands that are successful today, if you think about, okay, let's talk about demographics of millennials. Millennials like to support brands with purpose and value. And they want to be able to, they are more of the sustainable and ethical mindsets. You know, they really do have that because they see like, whoa, there's a problem with like the planet right now that we really need to address. Like, we are the solution solvers, you know, and that's what I really feel like is happening right now is we're trying to come up with solutions using our money to support brands that are also taking the initiative to be more, using more recycled products or like eliminating more waste, things like that, and just really bringing that. But I know, Jessie, you're really passionate about this too, is like seeing how building a business is part of that spiritual journey. Because as Miranda said, if you still have that lack mentality mindset of like, well, I got to be quiet so that no one steals this idea, or like the fear, that's a resistance, that's a barrier that you're going to keep facing, that's going to actually prevent you from soaring to the moon, you know, and like really like making those drastic shifts and those changes. So how would you see this journey? I mean, we're in San Diego right now, which is a very strong space for spirituality and consciousness and awareness. So how would you see that this business and this journey of business has been in relation, very parallel to your spiritual journey?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. And like you said, I truly believe every single experience that you have in this lifetime is a spiritual experience. It's an opportunity to grow. Someone really wise told me recently, I was telling them about my business journey, and they said, business is so clearly your ashram. So your ashram can be anything that really shows up to meet you and catalyzes your growth. Business has been that for me. And, you know, on top of the challenges and the growth opportunities and the amplification of my growth that I've experienced in business, it's been an opportunity when I first started my business to take a step back and look at the world and say, okay, these are my gifts. I have, you know, maybe 100 years to spend on this planet. How can I bring my gifts to this world and create the biggest impact possible? And for me, that starting point was helping businesses, impact businesses, tell their story in a really powerful way and solve the world's greatest problems, which is the brand that I built, MoonShot Creative. So the whole incentive of that company is to help businesses that are doing really amazing things tell their story in a powerful way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so what would you say that looks like? Because I feel like that's part of your messaging. And like, if you're not streamlined in that, like you're just going to keep running around in circles. So what would you suggest, or like a tip for someone that's like stuck in that space? Because I know that's a lot of the work you do too. Like, how can you start to really get clearer with that?
Absolutely. So I think the piece that people miss more than anything when they're starting a company is to take the time to build a brand. And I like the metaphor, branding is kind of like self-help for your business. It's like doing Landmark for your business in a way, if you're a fan of Landmark. But it's digging in, asking the right questions, figuring out what your big why is, what your purpose is, and then translating that to your community. So frankly, it's breaking through the bullshit of all the marketing jargon and everything you see online. We live in a time where everything online is so oversaturated, and a really, really great brand is super soulful, super connected, knows who they are, knows who their customer is, and is able to translate that in a really authentic way that feels good. It's telling stories. It's not buy this. It's like, you know, it's telling a story. It's getting through to someone in a really connective way.
Yeah. And I think with me, I know when I started business, like I started my business as part of my healing, because like I actually met Miranda through her husband, because her husband was my first writer when I was running my Peace Love EDM blog right out of college, and I was like a music journalist, and that's how our relationship came through, right? So there was that. She's laughing. There was that drive, but the journey for me with my business has been part of my healing, you know, and I feel like as my business and brand as I've evolved, so has my business and brand. And I think that's the thing too. People are afraid that like for them to come up with this message, like that's going to be the message forever. But like, it's not. We're always evolving. And it's like that journey of, as we continue to become more self-actualized and self-realized and discovering who we are, we can refine it even further and further and further. So don't beat yourself up that like, this is what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. Because there can be that pressure. And it's like, what is inspiring you now? What motivates you now? Like, what is the fuel that like wakes you up to like be a change maker? What is the fuel that allows you to be a light leader? What is the fuel that you see your talents and your gifts transforming like the world?
Absolutely. Yeah, your business is a living, breathing, energetic entity that you have to constantly be pouring energy into.
It's your child.
Yeah, it really is. And when you send it out into the world, it has an effect and can make a ripple effect on other people and inspire people, even if they don't end up working with you. If one piece of content that you put out shifts someone's energy in some way, it's totally worth it.
Yeah. So what would you say, Miranda, about building brands to really that value, like the term value with brands? And, you know, I think in a world of Instagram today, you know, like there can be so much that pressure of like, fuck, I have to post, even though like it can be shit, right? So it's like you have to focus more on the quality and the content and to see how it also supports the vision and the mission of your brand and why you're doing the work that you do.
100%. It's funny because when I meet with a new client and they haven't really dived into that brand build exercise that Jessie was talking about, I actually send them to Jessie. I say, I can't work with you until you have your brand fully fleshed out. And it's kind of created this really great partnership. And we've been able to do that with a few projects together, which is really great. Because if they don't have all of that lined out, it makes it really hard for a marketer to do a really good job. And not saying like it can't be done, because there's been times where a client says, no, you know, we have very limited budget. We need to make it work. So we do a little bit of branding work with that client. It's not nearly on the level that Jessie and her team do it, but we really tap into, that why. So for anyone who's listening who hasn't watched that video by Simon Sinek, I think it's called, if you just Google why video by Simon Sinek, he essentially outlines the importance of your why. And the gist of it is that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And really kind of picking apart, like, okay, yes, a client might have a really great product that's different, but why are they doing it? How is this going to benefit their user or their consumer? How are they going to bring value to their life? And then going outside of the product, like what content can you provide that's going to support that why, and then also provide a lot of value in itself. So like you had mentioned, quality over quantity is huge. I am a huge advocate for that. I would much rather see a brand post less and have it be really, really high quality, juicy, beautiful content rather than posting every single day and it just all kind of being meh.
That's part of like the robotics, right? Because it's like, if you're having to feel like, oh, I have to post every single day, but there isn't that like juice, people feel that. That's the thing. It's like, I feel like people have a stronger bullshit like radar, you know, and it's like, this is bullshit, or like, this is really powerful. And people can see right through that now. You know, I feel like we're living in a time where more and more people are doing the spiritual work and they're seeing through the fluff. They're seeing through the bullshit. And it's like they want to support genuine content, genuine people, authenticity. They want to like grit, things that have like true value.
Right. And social media is, at the end of the day, it's a trust tool. It's a tool that you use to gain trust from your community, because the likelihood of someone coming across your social media page and then converting and purchasing right away is extremely slim. I mean, maybe if you're offering some crazy big sale, but like, or Black Friday, but that's an outlier.
Well, let's go with that real fast, because a lot of times if you're always doing sale, those aren't the people that are really going to be supporting your brand, right? Like those are the ones that are always looking for like the little bite, but like you want to have also brands and customers that are supporting you fully and in their abundance mindset. Because a lot of the times with like always in the sale, it's like, oh, like, you know, they don't believe in their abundance or their worth, you know?
Right.
So it's like, that's why it's been a huge advocate lately about trading. Like trade is okay, but don't rely solely on trading, because you're actually preventing yourself from receiving the vibration of money.
And if you're always on sale, you train your audience into thinking that you are always on sale. And you pigeonhole yourself into this really difficult position where you have no choice but to always be on sale. And I've gone through that with a few clients myself. And while it can work for some clients, they have to always be on sale. So it's like, okay, what's the next sale we're doing? Let's innovate. Let's try to think of a new sale. And it gets pretty exhausting. And I wouldn't wish that on any new entrepreneur into training your audience that you're always on sale, because it just devalues not only like the product, but your entire brand. It kind of cheapens the brand. And I'm all about building high quality, high value, really, really juicy, amazing, vibrant brands.
Amazing. Yeah. And this is something that was coming up. Well, this is something I'm thinking about right now because, like, after this, I'm driving to my university to mentor 4 students. My marketing professor from college at Chapman, he gave me 4 students that I'm mentoring and teaching them the ropes, because this is the thing about marketing too. It's always evolving, you know, and it's always changing. So you have to really be like a sociologist and to study these groups and these people and these individuals and understand that what worked even a year ago may not work today. You know, there's always people trying to be innovative on marketing and like, how do we keep it fresh? Right? So I want to talk about just like how do you feel about keeping that fresh, or what are some trends you're seeing right now about freshness with marketing?
Some ones that are popping up right now on the top of my head are the utilization of Instagram stories and how content is kind of going in this different, it's almost like splitting into like a Y, like, and a lot of this is because of Instagram. Like you have like your feed, which is like your beautiful, like high quality pictures, videos, very like, curated and very well produced. And, you kind of have like that form of content. And then you have your stories, which is like where shit gets real, like where you can actually show more of who you are, that realness. And more people now are consuming content through stories than they are through the feed.
Totally.
So people are gravitating towards that. Like you said, people have a strong bullshit filter. Like they see those beautiful pictures, and yes, they're awesome. Like I still do love the beautiful picture part of Instagram, because for me, it kind of elicits a different feeling of being inspired, or maybe, inspired or motivated. But when I go in the stories, that's where I go for the true human connection. And at the end of the day, people don't connect with, I mean, as important as it is to have like colors and a beautiful logo and all that outline, like people, that might draw people in at first, but that's not what people are going to connect with at the end of the day. People don't really connect with colors, they connect with people.
Right.
So while you might have a beautiful brand that you worked so hard to develop, you might as well throw it all away if you're not going to show up and be authentic and show that humanistic side of your brand.
Yeah, and a huge part of that too, like I like to tell people, like with like Instagram, for instance, like 1, show face, and 2, make sure your photo is also your profile photo if you're a person. Like hiding behind brands, like people want to connect with you. They want to feel the real you. So you can focus on business, but what are the other things that interest you? Like that's why like people love when I post videos of Bud. Like I get messages all the time about my dog. Like they're always like, oh my God, Bud, can't wait to meet him. And then when I meet them in person and they're like, oh my God, Bud. And I was like, whoa, this is a trip. But it's like they want to have that, like they want to feel like they're your friend. They want to feel like there's a piece into your world, because again, the soulistic approach of it, like there's no separation anymore. Right. And a huge part of what I teach a lot with my clients is like stepping out of the spiritual closet, you know, and it's like coming down the mountaintop and sharing with the world, like what you've learned, who you've become. And I think the biggest thing I know for me, what's worked for me, is allowing myself to be vulnerable and human, you know, and in a world of Instagram where you're talking about these feeds that are so highly curated, but if you allow yourself to show the real side of business, the real side of entrepreneur, what it is to be an entrepreneur, that's relatable. and people want to feel like they're not alone. Like we're getting out of this phase of lone wolfing in life, and it's like community and support and like rooting for each other. Like that's what it's about. And if your business isn't focused on that, then you need to really reevaluate why you're doing this work.
Right. And that circles back to it being a trust tool. You're gaining their trust, even just by being real and showing people, hey, oh my gosh, I had a really shitty day and spilled mustard all over my shirt. Like, but I'm still able to laugh about it. Like a lot of people might think, oh, I don't want to share that because, you know, it's too negative or it's not pretty enough. No, share it. People want to see that real side of you. That builds trust.
Yes. And it's everything now. We're getting all the noise. It's so awesome. This is real life.
Urban living right here.
Well, this is the thing too. It's like, I know when I'm in Joshua Tree, I get like coyotes and crows, and here I'm like street sweepers and motorcycles. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love it. And, but this is real, you know? And that's the thing too, is like, let's talk about marketing. People want photos of real women. Right? Like that is what humanity is craving. The opposite of addiction is connection. And we need to be able to connect to real people. If you want to be a successful brand, you can't be connecting to these brands or these advertisings that aren't real humans, real women, like real issues. And I think it's been such a blessing that we're finally waking up to a world where there is that is a driving force for brands. You're seeing more like LGBTQ couples and advertisings, and you're seeing more people of color rising up. You're seeing people with various like disabilities talking about depression, like really being like human.
Absolutely. Getting real. And if I'm going to give someone like the smallest tidbit to start their brand excursion, it's get to know the human beings that you're trying to connect with. And we call them personas, you know, like that's what we use in the professional world, but like actually find people in your audience that, you know, this is Jessie Donahue. She's 26 years old. She does this. She loves this. She has a dog, whatever. Like really get to know that customer and even talk to them. Like what's the content that would inspire you? And build around that, like from your heart.
Yeah, it's like when you focus on that like one person, right? Like you have that avatar, right? Or whatever, and you focus on that one person, and it's like really streamlined to that. You know, I remember when I was like doing that exercise after I did like Marie Forleo's B School years ago, I was like, oh, my woman, her name is Celeste, you know? Go to Burning Man. This bitch in my camp, her name is Celeste.
No way.
Like, oh my
You're like,
God.
in the flesh.
She's here. She's here in the flesh. It was like,
course.
you know, the magic of Burning Man, what you find there. But I was like, wow, this is a fucking trip. So it's really, because that also allows you to streamline and to stay focused. And I think, like, I know for me as a Gemini, as an air sign, it's like that focus aspect is something that I'm like really working on. So if you want to go fast, go alone. I have been a fucking hermit this year. Like I was telling Jessie before, like last year I went to 30 festivals. I used to be a music journalist. I went to one festival this year. Maybe, okay, I went to Bhakti too, but I went to go see my friend Soundbath. But like that was not, I wasn't like fully immersed in a festival because I've been streamlining and focusing on myself and on my brand. And sometimes you need those moments to like really get clear. Otherwise you find yourselves in these loops and in these circles. So what would you have, would you guys have to say about like not really focusing on what it is and you're just kind of like half-assing it?
Yeah. Great question. And I do want to make one comment about the festival scene because it actually has to do a lot with branding. I found when I first started my company, I was pretending that I was like, because I was young. I started my company when I was 24 years old. So I kind of felt like I needed to be like this professional. I like wore a blazer and stuff to things. That ended very quickly. But actually, the more I got true to my personal brand and started bringing it into my business, the more I started attracting people that I like actually was aligned with. The more I started dropping, you know, I'm going to Burning Man, or I just got from Burning Man in meetings, the more it started attracting my like tribe, my true people, and the businesses that I actually felt passionate about working with. So yeah, that unfiltered, unadulterated like branding, that's what the world is craving. So,
and when you allow yourself to be honest and vulnerable, that's what you find too. Like I talk about psychedelics all the time. All of my one-on-one clients, they're all passionate about psychedelics. My group, like, so it's like my people, right? And when you find that confidence and you speak with confidence about who you are, guess what? You become a magnet to those people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah. So that to me has just been like a really important aspect. Like, just figure out who you are and don't be ashamed of it. Like, really embrace all of you, quirks and all, and you would be amazed by what's coming up and what's coming through.
Absolutely. Your business really should be an extension of your soul. And when you're creating a brand, like that's the heart center of your brand, and anything that you pump out on social media or, you know, your website, anything, those are the limbs of your brand. So yeah, just being like really honest and authentic and building something that is so true to your why will attract the right people naturally.
Okay. So now I want to open up the floor to you guys. What are some questions that are coming up for you that you want to have these conversations about?
Oh, how the tables have turned.
Well, okay. This is kind of out of the blue, but I do see this interesting thing that's happening in society, and I think there's a correlation between what's happening online and what's actually happening in society, and I want to see if you've experienced the same thing and like what the correlations are here. So I've noticed a lot of people in my community, social media grew really fast, and access to food grew really fast. And I'm noticing that everyone's kind of shifting to the more local farmers market mentality, and I'm also seeing that happen in social media communities too. We want more high quality content and like a smaller community. So I guess my question for you guys is like, what are you seeing? What's the correlation between what's happening in society, what's happening online, and how do we cater to that?
Yeah, I think the inner creates the outer. So the reaction that you have even like in the now and your state of being, that's going to really be seen in your expression and your reality. So I definitely feel like it's getting a lot more intimate. Once you have that trust factor.
Street sweeper again. Okay, hopefully that's the last time.
We're keeping it real over here. This
Yeah.
is
So once you have that trust factor, I just feel like it's a grassroots movement right now, right? So that grassroots is a lot of that authenticity. It's like that genuine value. So that's where I feel like it's really going to. It's like going back to basics in a way, but so like it's like paying respect to what it was with like advancements. You know what I mean? Like that's how I see, like even with my way of being, like that's how I've seen like festival communities. You know, it was like going back to how it was in the 60s, but now we have a lot more science about psychedelics and plant medicines and things like that we're using, like microdosing to be able to have like breakthroughs with business or ideas and things like that. So I think it's also like really being aware of the times that we're in, but what also works. Like if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Like
Totally.
What's been working and what is the most soul expansive, and like going towards that, because again, it goes like we've been talking about value, like value, and we want to root for the little guys, you know, like we want to be rooting for going against like these big massive corporations that are completely soul sucking and they don't give a shit. Like that's why you're seeing more pop-up coffee shops instead of like going to Starbucks. Now that Nestle partnered with Starbucks, it's like, okay, cool. So now Monsanto truly owns, like Starbucks. Yeah. So there's a lot of that. It goes by ethics and values. I just really feel like is what really business is about right now.
Absolutely. And once again, call me optimistic, but I think we live in like the most exciting time that we could ever exist.
Oh, I hear you. Absolutely.
And it's a renaissance of sorts. It's a tech renaissance. It's a business renaissance. It's a spirituality renaissance.
Definitely.
And with that, we have the power to take thousands of years of refining the human experience and then all of this really new and exciting stuff and make a love child that really works.
Absolutely. That's the way I see how business is going right now. But now we have this thing called technology, right? And so it's also really important for us to honor the energy of technology, honor the energy of our businesses. And we have this whole other layer we need to work through now, because like, for instance, like I was trying to write my book on Saturday, and what came through was like, no, bitch, you need to get organized, because now this computer it's an extension of our thoughts, and this is energy as well, right? Like there's energy in this. So organization is critical when it comes to your business. If your energy is all scattered around, you're not going to be able to streamline your business. You're not going to be able to streamline your message, your energy. And like Yogi Bhajan, who brought Kundalini Yoga to the West, he always talks about consolidate your energy, right? Like consolidate your energy. And the thing is that abundance loves clarity. It thrives with clarity. So if your energy is clear, if your intention is clear, if your way of being is clear, you that's where the results come through. That's why I also think the big health craze is coming up now too, because if we're doing spiritual work through our business, if we're not taking care of our sacred temples, game over. Like you're not going to be able to sustain, because there's energy being generated through your business and through your work. And if that's the feminine energy, and the masculine energy is the container, aka your body. I know for me, having been struck by lightning and like having to reset my nervous system, I missed a lot of opportunities because my body wasn't strong enough to be able to hold the energy of abundance, of love, of opportunity. And so for me, that's another huge part of my focus this year, is focusing on my health. And, you know, we're in a town right now that's very health oriented too. Like San Diego is very health oriented, and it's not like LA where it's like, let's all get our green juices. It's like, it's very nature driven compared to LA, which is very much of the rat race, concrete jungle. And, you know, maybe I'm just biased because like my heart's here, but.
And if I could bring it back to, so when you mentioned social media and how things are evolving, and I think it is always going to come back to human connection, because now with the development, or I should say rapid development of things like AI, like we're only going to lose more and more of that human connection as technology advances. And so it's just, I feel like it's getting more and more important to integrate more of that true human connection. And like you mentioned earlier, Sabrina, like don't fix something that's not broken. Like sometimes old school marketing methods are still the most effective.
Email.
Like, not even just that. Like, for example, like I had a client who we were doing some ad campaigns for, and we had two options for them to either book a service directly online or fill out a form and have someone call them to book the service. Talk to a human being. Have a human being call them, talk them through the services that they offer, and then get them to book. And the conversion rate on the phone calls was significantly higher than getting someone to just book online, because they connected with the business owner. They had a human connection, human conversation. And yeah, a lot of marketers might say, oh, that's old school, that takes a while, but I don't care. The data doesn't lie. Like that works more than having people just fill out a form online.
It's a genuine, like, oh, this is why I'm here.
Genuine, authentic connection. And I think a lot of marketers get really excited about technological advances. And I'm even seeing this now with Facebook Messenger bots. Like, utilize AI to have a robot talk to people on Messenger. And it's just honestly freaking me out, because I feel
like Elon Musk, when he was on the episode with Joe Rogan, he was talking about how like AI is advanced way too fast. Algorithms, everything.
Yeah.
And I feel like, even, sorry to interrupt, but I feel like I was at Sahara's book launch, and I feel like there's also that location services, right? So like if everyone around you, like let's say like I follow someone and you follow someone, and like Instagram knows you're in the same location because you allow location services to be there, that's going to help also bring like the energy and the synergy of like the people and the algorithms you see.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually was watching Abstract last night. I'm like a total geek for design.
I love that show.
If you're a geek for design, so many great quotes. I was watching the photography episode. And one key takeaway was he was saying great design like cuts out all the noise. It's really simple. Great design just like gets through to someone. But gosh, I forgot why I brought this up. I got so excited about Abstract. What were you saying right before that?
I was talking about connection. AI and generating.
Oh, like, right. Yeah. Okay. So what he was talking about, he shoots on film still. And he says he rarely like changes cameras. And then he brought it back to social media. He was saying, let's not let the tools dominate our work. And I feel like that's just such a great message for social media. Like, how do we bring it back to the basics? How do we make sure that,
because you're not hiding behind social media.
Social media can be an amazing, powerful, beautiful thing. Like sometimes I find someone to follow on social media and it inspires me so much, and I follow them forever. And their content is just so juicy. It inspires me. It lights me up. It informs my work. So it can be a really beautiful thing, but let's not be dominated by the tools. Let's make sure that we're really providing great content, like great connection.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like there's going to be a lot more like in-person opportunities coming through in the future? Or like what are some future trends that you two are seeing kind of unfolding?
Definitely. You hit it on the head. Events. Meeting people in person. I think people would be more likely to pay to go to something where they actually get to interact with people in person rather than do things virtually. Yes, virtual is easier, but there's just something magical
that
about
humanness,
meeting someone in person and actually feeling that energy. And even to geek out more on the marketing side a bit, like, because I have a background in the food and beverage marketing world, and like the most effective form of marketing was going into grocery stores and talking to people and getting them to try it and to sample it and having that connection. And I don't think that's going away. I see a lot of brands trying to eliminate that. Right. People love Costco because they're like free samples, they can't get enough of it. It's a sensory experience.
Totally.
Multi-sensory, because you're smelling, tasting, feeling, talking, everything. Where if it's online, yes, you can look at beautiful pictures of food, but you can't smell it. You can't taste it. You're not getting that experience that's going to be ingrained in your brain because it's utilizing all of the senses. Mm-hmm. So I would hope that we're going to see more of that, more of this kind of in-person, face-to-face marketing. Yes, it's a lot more work. Yes, it's not as easy as online marketing, but I don't know. I think that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, and what's interesting too is that, like, I know my sister, she does like big corporate events for like YouTube and Playboy and all these different brands and stuff. And these companies are spending a shit ton of money now in their events so that they have like the hashtag for the event and they make it really interactive and fun. And that's a big way that they're also promoting, is like, it's not so much just about, like, oh, let's go on Instagram and post this. Like, people want to be part of that experience. People want to be able to, and I think, like, even with millennials, like, we want to travel and stuff. So I feel like there is also, like, as someone who's in more of the spirituality, personal development realm that I've been in for the past 6 years, it's a lot of that, like, creating memories, and going to these retreats in different places and really immersing themselves. And I know for me, like, not even more so the investment in your brand, but like investing in you, like personally. Like, you have to allow yourself to continue to evolve as yourself. If you are a self-employed person who is running a business, your investment in you is critical because you're constantly evolving. You need to keep things fresh for you, and that can look like traveling. That can look like personal development programs. That can look like whatever it is. So now I want to jump into that because you two are offering a really exciting course, which is why we're here, obviously talking about all things. I told you we were going to talk, like, go in there. But I want to talk about your guys' Build Your Brand and Following course that you guys are putting out. So who wants to jump on and share what was the inspiration of, like, now this is the time for us to create this course?
Yeah. So basically the way that it was born was both of our agencies work with more corporate level clients. And unfortunately, to get into working with us, you have to have a big budget, $25K. But we fall in love with all these amazing female-owned businesses, and we really want to support them. And so I had so many women approaching me like, this is my idea. How do I start? And I wanted to help them so much, but just like couldn't quite make it work. So I had this in the back of my mind for a while. Miranda and I started talking about it. How can we create something that would support female business owners? So we basically took the systems that we use for our really high-end clients, and we created an online program where we take 12 women through a Build Your Brand and Following experience. So from like step 1, we're going to teach you how to figure out your core why, the heart and soul of your company, and then build an aesthetic, build out visuals, and then start growing a following that's really true to that.
Yeah, and then teaching them how to integrate a content strategy that, you know, going back to building trust with a community and how to serve them the best that you can with high quality content, not bending over backwards to produce a ton of nonsense or just a ton of content, learning how to do it really smart and strategically.
Working smarter instead of harder.
Exactly. But also doing it in a way that brings a lot of value and trust to their audience that will ultimately help them grow exponentially, because they're going to be building a really authentic community. They're going to be building some really, really beautiful content because we have some really awesome like templates and really hands-on tools that we can, you know, that we're going to show them how to use. So we're hoping to make this as easy as possible. We know that building a brand and creating a social media content strategy is a huge undertaking and it's a lot of work. And a lot of businesses hire out to do that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But for the female entrepreneur who's just starting, who's creative, who wants to get her hands dirty, this is for her. Oh yeah, sorry, my cat in the background.
She's excited.
So many noises.
She's excited
noises.
about building your brand.
So yeah, that's why we created this. I personally saw a lot of courses that kind of focused on a few of these things, but we couldn't really find one in the market that encompassed all of this. Like there's a lot of social media courses. I'm sure there's a lot of branding courses. There's a lot of stuff online, there's a lot of materials online, but to be able to condense this and simplify it and provide everything in one like 6-week course, we feel like this will be really, really beneficial for women entrepreneurs and really help them level up their business.
Absolutely. And I'm not going to lie, it's going to be an intense 6 weeks, but a really, really awesome 6 weeks. And the reason why I'm most excited about doing this way is because we're bringing together 12 women. And there's something really powerful about doing this in the company of other people that are doing this. And it just like breathes energy and fresh ideas and a really awesome community.
Yeah, because I know with me, my experience with like taking programs and even being an instructor and someone who's offering programs, what makes it more powerful is that community, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, I know for me, I've taken so many courses and there's people I've met through there that are like lasting friendships. I have one of my friends who also does branding, Brianna Rose, who was on the podcast before. She's staying at my house for 3 days this week. Like she's coming in from New York and she's coming to Joshua Tree and she's staying in my house. I met her through a course. I have friends that I met 4 years ago in courses that I still talk to. And the thing is like, while the content is great, it's like the relationships that you build are priceless. And that is where you guys can have accountability as you continue to go through the journey, because you understand where they're coming from because you're also going through that. And so it's more of that, again, relatability. And it's letting you know you don't have to lone wolf it, letting you understand that like, hey, I'm going to really foster, and these are the people that are going to support me and I'm going to continue to support because I'm seeing their evolution. So it's a really powerful community building exercise as well.
Absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head when you said accountability. I've seen, friends in my community who have spent 2 years just trying to figure out their website, just trying to write their copy. And we're like, here's 6 weeks. We're going to hold you accountable. We're going to build this brand. You're going to have a brand by the end of 6 weeks, mm-hmm. a living, breathing brand that's ready to make you money.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if you're willing and you're ready, like these are the people that are like, I'm done with the bullshit. I'm done playing small. Like, this is my time. This is like the invitation I've been waiting for to mm-hmm. really show up and to really, and what's great, you're doing this right before the end of the year. So you can start the new year like on solid ground. Like, fuck New Year's resolutions. You're starting them now. Like,
mm-hmm. right.
And that's the thing. Like, so many of us get that mindset of like, oh, January 1st. Time for the New Year's resolutions.
But
and
the
by
successful people start now.
Yeah, and by January 22nd, you're already over it. So
right.
it's like, start taking the momentum and implementing it now so that it's already the locomotive's already like moving.
Yeah.
And so that you're literally setting yourself up for success for this next year.
Exactly. Yeah.
And this is also for women who might have already maybe created a business and maybe they feel stagnant. Maybe they rushed through it, or maybe they've only built half of it and they want to circle back and really build a much stronger brand. So it's really open to anyone who either kind of has a business established or someone who has an idea, they're birthing something and they're ready to release it to the world.
Amazing. Yeah. And so if you do sign up, the links are all in the show notes, but where can we also find the website? Buildyourbrand.lpages.co, right?
Yeah, let me double check.
Check the notes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's
yes,
that. I have
right.
it right here.
Buildyourbrand.lpages.co.
And you can go there and you can learn more. Again, it's all in the show notes as well as all their Instagram handles so you can understand them and start to build a relationship with these women because they're going to take you there. Like if you're ready to do it, like this is not someone that's half-assing it. Like if you're really being like, I'm committed to this, what is your sacred why on why you want this? Is it just so that you can have that pretty Instagram page, or is it because you really want to make change through your business? Like this is your opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And even if you're not ready to jump into Build Your Brand, connect with us, start building a relationship. We'll be posting tips and all sorts of brand building and brand growth content. So connect to us.
Yeah, amazing. I'm really excited to see, because I'm sure I'll be talking with you guys like during the course and
definitely
checking in with my girl here and being like, what's happening? What's the stage? Because it's great because I launched Thrive on this table like that we're sitting at right now.
Amazing. I love that.
Because I was here for my birthday and my last day to sign up was the day after my birthday. So I'm like sitting on this table getting the last of my emails out, you know, and like this is where it came through, was on this table. So it's really fun to be able to have this conversation around the table and now to see like you two like going after. And I know I've been talking with Miranda for a long time about get the course. And she's like, oh, no. I'm like, do it. Because that's accountability. And that's what friends do. We push each other to align. And that's the people that you're going to meet in this experience. You're going to find your new friends. Like, I know for me, when I'm hosting Thrive right now, like I only have 2 weeks left, and all these women are like, these are my soul family.
Totally.
You know, and like this is the synchronicity that you're going to find your people that are going to support you, and then you can root for each other with your businesses. And again, it's going back to that community, that cooperation, and that collaboration that we talked about.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it's not always that you're surrounded by family and friends that totally understand what you're going through. In fact, more times than not, your family thinks you're absolutely crazy for trying to do what you're doing. So this is building, well, I guess it's not just 12 women. It'll be 14, 15 women. We might have some speakers come in too. But a community of people that you can shoot a message and say, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Celebrate your wins with, share your struggles with, and just, grow an amazing business that gets you in your power and your freedom and travel the world, do whatever it means to be sovereign to you.
Yeah, girl. That's what I'm talking about. Amazing. Well, to wrap up, I want to ask a few lightning round questions with you ladies.
Ooh.
Okay, so what else is inspiring you right now outside of business, Miranda?
Oh, gosh.
Everything. We're just really inspired.
My cat. No, I'm just kidding.
Nova's the best cat.
Where is she? Let's see. Okay, actually, so this is different than what most people probably know of me. People who know me well usually associate like travel and adventure and always wanting to travel. But lately, I've been feeling really inspired by nesting.
I knew you were
staying
gonna say
at
that.
home.
I was like, home design. I knew you were going to say that.
I just it's so funny. I love travel. I do love travel, but I'm realizing that traveling is kind of a lot, and it's really hard for me to root myself when I get back, and I'm just finding more and more joy of being a homebody and working on my house and staying home. And I actually feel more inspired the weekends that I stay home than when I'm like out and about and I'm just
God, this is 30.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I'm getting so old, but yeah.
Amazing.
Nesting. That's it.
Great. And Jessie?
Ooh, okay. I'm like an inspiration junkie. Like I'm always trying to be inspired in some way. A couple months ago, I took up salsa and bachata dancing. Ooh. Of all things. I'm like, I've always wanted to do it. And I saw a friend doing it. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. So I literally salsa dance 3 times a week. And it sounds silly, like a silly thing to do. But there's so many amazing like lessons and takeaway about like polarity and femininity and masculinity and partnership. Like I'll tell a quick story. I know we have to wrap up. But my salsa dancing teacher, she's like this young spitfire, like just absolutely crazy, amazing dancer. And she stopped us all in the middle of the class. She's like, stop, everybody. And she had us do this exercise where we were like leaning against our partner. And basically it goes back to that quote, you know, if you want to go, what?
If you want to go fast, go alone. If
Exactly.
You want to go far, go together.
Right. And there's so much that you can do in partnership. And I really learned that in dance, you know, like the body weight. Exactly.
And now you two are doing this partnership together.
A beautiful partnership too. And an amazing one that I'm so stinking inspired by. And the crazy thing actually that I realized this morning as I was getting ready to come meet you guys, Miranda and I actually were next door to each other. We were meant to meet. We didn't know when we were working for other people in another business. Our offices were like 300 feet away from each other. We didn't know each other. We met like basically the same day.
You
that
met through
quit.
Danielle Blum, right?
Yeah,
who was
a good
also
friend.
on this podcast before.
But we've spent a year, 2 years, literally 300 feet away from each other. We didn't know each other. We were destined to meet.
I love that.
And
I
here we
know.
are. That was like 3-4 years ago. Yeah. So it blew my mind.
This is trusting the process right here.
Absolutely.
Amazing.
The universe was just trying to get us to work together at some capacity.
Yeah, they're like, come on, like, what
Yeah.
else do we have to do here?
Oh my God.
we could have like spilt coffee on each other walking into work, and we just never crossed paths.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So here we are.
That's
in
amazing.
In a beautiful, beautiful partnership.
Yes.
Yeah.
So great. Okay. So what would you say to younger Miranda, and what would you say to younger Jessie?
Oh, to younger Miranda. Trust the process. It's all going to work out. Stop stressing the fuck out. Start practicing saying no, because you're going to have to say it a lot.
Amazing. And Jessie?
What age are we talking about? 'Cause
Whatever's
young can be
coming up
like
to you.
yesterday to me.
Whatever's coming up to you.
Oh, this is such a great question. It's one that I think about a lot. I think when I first, I'm gonna do younger Jessie when I first started my business, and what I would say to younger Jessie is like, it's gonna be hard. Just stay focused. When you're hard, and you know there have been moments where like, you know, someone that I had hired and trusted, like, I lost, and it was like the hardest moment of my entire life, and I wanted to stay in bed for 4 weeks, and I did stay in bed for, you know, a couple of days. But in those moments where you're just experiencing like the biggest trial of your life, dig deep, keep moving forward. Like just keep moving forward. Don't waste time. Take your time, heal, and then keep moving forward.
What an opportunity to do that digging in, because it's like that's the threshold right there. Like you're on the precipice, and all that takes for you is to take that leap and to like see what is ready, what's been rotted, that's ready to get pulled out, what isn't serving anymore.
Absolutely.
Ooh, I love that.
And it's those moments that really define us and refine us as human beings.
Absolutely amazing.
And they're gifts. They're
Yes,
gifts.
definitely. So what would you say is with business and everything that's unfolding, what is your biggest vision?
Biggest vision. Creating a business that inspires and impacts. I'm feeling really called to women lately. But also gives a lot of spaciousness in my life. As I mentioned in the beginning of the podcast, being a mom is something that is really important to me.
Oh, she's talking about it, let me tell you.
And
She wouldn't let her husband get his convertible Mustang because she's like, you're going to be a dad. You can get a sunroof.
I was like, yeah, you're going to be a dad soon.
Sorry, Taylor.
Quote of the day: you're gonna be a dad. You can have a sunroof.
But yeah, creating that spaciousness so that I could really focus on what matters most in life, which is family. And yeah, I know it's hard to do that in today's landscape. And with my parents, they worked and ran a business the whole time, and I saw how stressed they were, and I've learned a lot from their experience. So I'm hoping to create a different experience for myself.
Amazing. And Jessie?
My vision is to activate the world at some capacity, to impact thousands, millions of people, to inspire people to go do whatever lights them up. I think if we have a world that's lit up and inspired, and in the space of abundance and creativity, we're able to solve the world's greatest problems. My starting point is women. I think getting women in abundance and in the heart, as the Dalai Lama actually said, the Western woman will save the world. So
That's one of my favorite like empowerment quotes.
yes.
I even have that on my website. The world would be saved by the Western woman.
Yes.
Absolutely. I feel that. And that's why we're here to like really help you to bring that work-life balance, because it's everything, you know, like we've learned from our parents who were like workhorses, and we saw like how tired they are and like how drained they are. And now like they're like discovering kind of who they are on a deeper level,
right?
You know, and we're doing that work at a younger age.
Exactly. Let's live our whole lives with that wisdom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amen. And so it is, and it is so. Amazing. Okay, so where can we find you ladies? Share your handles, your Instagrams, your websites.
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Miranda.Luebkeman. Luebkeman spelled Luebkeman. It's a doozy.
Oh, Taylor.
I know. And then you can find my business at planetpalmcreative.com. That's my social media agency's website. And then, I do want to mention also, I got the URL wrong for our landing page. It's buildyourbrand.lpages.co/ and then this is where you guys should just click in the show notes, but I'll say it /build-your-brand.
We'll create a bit link for you.
Yeah.
There we go.
A bit link for you
We'll
on
make it
the
nice
bottom.
and easy.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll just do that. Perfect.
Amazing. And Jessie?
Yeah, so please connect on Instagram. I'd love to hear from you guys. My handle is Jessie.Donahue, JESSIE.DONAHUE. And my website is MoonShot Creative, just like it sounds. MoonShotCreative.com.
Amazing. And what are our two last things, like the final word that you want to share with everyone who's listening? Ladies, what would you want to share? What's coming up?
I mean, no matter where you are in your journey, whether it's your personal journey or your entrepreneurial journey, just focus on value. How can you serve your community the best that you possibly can? And I think that will serve you very far.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I would say just go for it. Go all in, live your life completely, live it fully, let it be messy. My childhood nickname was Messy Jessie, and I'm totally like embodying that right now. I'm like, you know what? Just live your life. Go to Bangladesh, go to India. Like, it's going to be hard. It's going to be messy. It's going to be fucking beautiful. And enjoy the journey.
Perfectly imperfect. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, ladies, thanks for like allowing me to talk about one of my favorite conversations. Like I said, Miranda and I, like, we call each other and like just shoot the shit about marketing, like probably at least every other week.
Beautiful.
So,
can we three-way those calls?
Yeah, let's do it. Definitely. Let's telephone it. So I thank you, ladies, for showing up, and I'm so excited for your course. And again, you can check out all the links in the show notes below. And I'm so grateful that you two are so committed to helping women, especially, really build the business and life that really inspires them and lights them up to really shift and create the change that we all wish to see in the world. So thank you again for your commitment and your dharma and your passion. And it shows. I mean, the fact that you two are so successful, how you are now, it's showing that you guys are living your soul's purpose. And so to be able to inspire other women to do that, like, it's such a blessing. And I just wanted to honor both of you for your commitment and your journey and staying true and authentic and real along the way and really honoring yourselves. So thank you, ladies. This was super fun.
Thank you.
Yes. And we hope you all enjoyed this episode. And make sure you take a screenshot and tag us. And we want to know what inspired you. And let's keep the conversation going over on Instagram, on our pages. And let's see how I'm excited to see how this episode is really inspiring you all to go out there. Like, now is the leap. Like, if you were looking for a permission slip, permission granted. Like, this is the time. So
here's the sign.
Yes. So we thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to connecting with you all soon. Thanks. I mean, how powerful was that episode? So much information. We're here for you. We want to support you. We've got you. And I was just so excited to be able to have this conversation with these ladies because there's, like I said, living out here in Joshua Tree, there's not very many people I can have these conversations with. So I know anytime I go to San Diego, I find my people, I find my babes, and I can really have these conversations and share with you the wisdom and the knowledge that we all know. And we just want to see you really step into your truth, step into your power, share your medicine and your gifts with the world. So much love to my girls, Jessie and Miranda, for throwing it down and sharing it with me. You can check more about their e-course that is coming up called Build Your Brand and Following. Check out the website, www.bit.ly/all caps BYB-FALL 2018. Again, it's bit.ly/BYB-F all caps ALL 2018, and go check it out. And if you do sign up, let them know that you heard from the Sovereign Society podcast, because we want to hear who's listening. And yeah, let's just continue to keep the community going. So thank you again for being here, and thank you for listening. And if you love this podcast, please leave a review over at on iTunes or whatever platform that you listen to. Leave a review and rating, and that helps bring our rankings up so more and more people can find the podcast, and we can continue to build our community. And those love notes really get me going, and they really support me when I'm having those challenging moments. So those of you who have left those reviews already, I thank you so much, because it really means the world when the going gets tough. So again, if you loved this episode, send a screenshot and tag us. You can tag us at Sabrina Riccio, Sovereign Society Podcast. You can tag us at Jessie.Donahue. You can tag us at Miranda Luebkeman. And we want to know who's tuning in, because we love to connect with you guys. So thank you so much for listening to this episode. And again, if you need help with your branding or business, go check out their incredible e-course. And I know it's going to be powerful, because these women are powerful. And if you also want to do the deeper work, you can also connect on my 3-month mentorship program, as I mentioned earlier in this episode, the Soulistic Journey. It's a powerhouse experience, and we're here to support each other. So thank you again so much for tuning in, and we'll be seeing you soon. Take care. Satnam.